To export this to PDF for him. I thought I was going to be able to run everything, but now I've got to save it as a PowerPoint. I'm sorry? File is just taking forever. 14 minutes to go.
Hey, Reverend Will, I guess I'm early, huh?
Can you hear me, Dave?
Hey, Reverend Will.
Can you hear me okay?
Can't hear you.
Do you know what the link is for the live stream?
I still can't hear you.
Can you hear me, Dave?
Hey, Reverend Will.
Can you hear me okay? I can hear you.
Yeah, still not.
Do you know what the link is for the
Maybe
live stream?
well, hold on. Maybe let's see, make sure my sound is on here. There we go. Yeah, it's my end, I guess.
I can hear you.
Yeah, still not. I'm good now.
Do you know what the link is for the
Maybe
live stream?
well, hold on. Maybe let's see, make sure my sound is on here. There we go. Yeah, it's my end, I guess.
Is the live stream
Yeah,
working?
still not. I'm good now.
Do you know what the link is for the
Maybe
live stream?
well, hold on. Maybe let's see, make sure my sound is on here. There we go. Yeah, it's my end, I guess.
Is the live stream
Yeah,
working?
still not. I'm good now.
Do you know what the link is for the So you're on the notes.
Maybe
So you
maybe
may
I
need to
make sure my
share again.
sound is on here. There we go.
The,
Yeah, it's my end, I guess.
is the live stream?
Yeah, still not. I'm good now.
Do you know what the link is for the So you're on the notes. So you may need to
Make sure
share
my
again.
sound is on here. There we go.
Uh-oh, there's a lot of audio.
I think we were getting some feedback through the maybe through the
I don't
live
think
stream feed as well.
it's-
Maybe.
Well, it's a live stream. It's going to be one or the other, and I'll just I'll leave myself.
I think we were getting some feedback through the maybe through the
I don't
live
think
stream feed as well. Maybe.
Well, it's a live stream. It's going to be one or the other, and I'll just I'll leave myself.
I think we were getting some feedback through the maybe through the live
Okay,
stream feed as
so
well.
I'm going to
Maybe.
just basically treat this as
one or the other,
just
and I'll just
a piece. It might be better to watch it on the live stream on YouTube. Can you double check? It says that it's going to start in 29 minutes. So I'm going to just basically treat this as just a piece. It might be better to watch it on the live stream on YouTube. Can you double check? It says that it's going to start in 29 minutes. So I'm going to just basically treat this as just a piece. It might be better to watch it on the live stream on YouTube. Can you double check? It says that it's going to start in 29 minutes. So I'm going to just basically treat this as just a piece. It might be better to watch it on the live stream. You ready for me to try it out? You ready for me to try it out? Yeah. Thank you. Do we have an extra power strip maybe?
Actually, there's another one over here. So what do you need to power?
This.
It's somewhere else.
Yeah, but I think it needs to be here to get both the speaker and
All right.
I was hoping to get it.
Let me go find it.
There he is. Just need a little power strip for this. I got the live streaming here and Facebook Live here. Why don't you grab some food? They're in that foyer, the next foyer over underneath the stairs. Okay, thanks. I think we're set. I think I've got Facebook Live and YouTube streaming and recording going. So, and I think we're close enough.
Like with bare minimum tech help, that's great.
I might. I guess I can actually see. Yeah, it's all right here.
Thank you so much. Yes, and that you can get everything out. I love seeing this reminds me of
I think it's all in here. If you go up here and go through, there's a corridor, two doors down, and then it's underneath the stairs. And then we have to put these around, what we get up at, or the actual agenda. The agenda is shared. What? Not yet. I only ran 50. Is that enough? There's more of the announcement for the fundraiser, if you want to put that. Would you mind staying in here until I grab something? I know, right?
Will, just
Assalamu
want to say
alaikum,
hello.
brother. How are you?
Bye. Glad to be here
There's
with you.
plenty of food in there if you want.
Okay. Thank you.
Bill, how you doing?
Doing fine. Yeah.
Do you know that Bill helps us with our retreats?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah.
He does a lot of things that he's very low key about.
Didn't expect to see you here.
I'm glad to see you too.
Yeah. I'm on Facebook with this guy.
Oh, that's how you keep track.
Well,
She's like
I wanted to see him
glutton
in
for
person. I've only seen his picture.
Oh, you're just powering that up for the Mac?
I haven't seen another single person here that I know until Bill.
Charging? Or you charging?
Yep.
Setting him up good. Not a lot. I think they were planning to.
There's some good food in there if you like.
Okay, how are you doing?
So Will, you didn't tell me you didn't win an award tonight. You didn't tell me you were getting an award tonight. I thought when I saw like your award, it has your name right after it. Oh, I saw it. No, I looked at it. Oh, back here? No, that's okay. I'm good. How are you? I know. I need a new Oh, I gotta get more. Tony's retired. I don't know if I can add one more payment. My friend's on Facebook. And he told me they was gonna be here. Oh, right.
Hey, Jeff. We didn't get a chance to test the sound on that, but we just trust that the video's gonna work then, right? I've got 2 embedded videos. How about that? happens after the eye care.
Good evening to you all. Listen up. Very good.
Oh, okay, great.
You could just hurry folks in.
All right, let me
Maybe
do
we'll
that.
just start the.
Also, let me get them in.
Okay, well, they might be in the restroom.
I'm terrible.
We're going to get started in just a minute, so please take your seat, and if you're in the singing messengers, please come take your place. Bill Shaw, how the heck are you, brother? Good to see you. Please come take your seat. We're going to get started with the music as soon as all the singing messengers come in.
No, but he's in my church choir, and I asked him, was he busy on Tuesdays?
All right, the singing messengers are going to get started, and so we invite you to take your place.
We go like this.
All right. When we go into nursing homes and other senior facilities, our job is to uplift the patients and bring some joy to the room. And one of the things we do is we help them dance. And there is one very, very special song that we do that you can dance to from a wheelchair. And so, since you're our guest tonight, we're going to see if you can learn to do it too from your chair. So, if I can have our chickens join me, please. So we are going to do the chicken dance. And what we ask our visitors to do is we start with our beaks and we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, very good. Next thing we do is I do our wings. 2, 3, 4. You're lucky. You're sitting down. We've got to do the nest thing. So then we do 1, 2, 3, 4. Why do they always laugh when we do that? The last thing we do is, 1, 2, 3. Let's try it again. We start with the beaks, 2, 3, 4. The wings, 2. Oh yeah. And 1, 2. Again, the beaks, 2, 3, 4. The wings, 2, 3, 4. Through the nest, yeah. And you are ready. Maestro. Yep. Ready? Do you want to feel good? Have some fun. We'll have some fun. As we finish with our programs, we tell our visitors that are joining us that we will see them again in 3 months with a brand new program. We have programs in the fall, in the winter, and in the spring. And we leave them with wishing them good health, happiness, and we sing shalom.
Let's give the singing messengers another thank you.
Thank you for letting us be silly.
We love it. As we get started with our meeting tonight, I'm the Reverend Will McGarvey, Executive Director of our Interfaith Council. We have a lot of visitors and friends and some new folks that are going to be elected tonight, some old previous chairs. Carolyn McKenzie, let's recognize you. Here. And it's so great to be here and to be together. As we come together as the Interfaith Council, even as 109 congregations, monasteries, and retreat centers, and our individuals, we do so in order to do the work that you're going to hear a lot about tonight. And whenever we meet, we like to start with a land acknowledgement, especially recognizing that we are on Bay Miwok land, but that we're also in the shadow of Mount D, which has that horrible name that was put there by the colonizers that wasn't the name that the local people used. The Ohlone used to call it Tuishtak. And the Bay Miwok had a different name, and the Tachiokus had a different name. And one of the things that we've been doing, since rather than just reading the same land acknowledgement over and over, we've been reading and learning about other indigenous peoples. So here's a little bit of information about the Cherokees we've been learning about. In 1838, the Cherokee Nation became the 5th major tribe to experience forced location to Indian territory. The Cherokee Nation moved from its ancestral homeland in parts of North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama to land set aside for them in what is now the state of Oklahoma. More than 1,500 Cherokee Indians were removed by the U.S. Army. The Choctaw, Chickasaw, Creek, and Seminole tribes were the other tribes that were forced to relocate. Over 100,000 Native Americans from the 5 tribes were forced to move. And you can see that there are multiple bands of Cherokee. Some are the Eastern Band, some are the Southern and the Northern Cherokee bands as well. They were held in concentration-like camps through the summer, and then they were forced to travel over 1,000 miles under very hard conditions to Oklahoma. Along the trail, nearly 4,000 Cherokee died of starvation, exposure, or disease. The Cherokee came to call this forced move or the trail where they cried. The results of the U.S. government's American Indian removal policy devastated American Indian cultures. Native Americans have been a strong and vital part of the North American history, but what the government did to these people is difficult to understand and accept. In 1987, Congress passed Public Law 100-192, designating 2 of the routes taken by the Cherokee people in their removal as a National Historic Trail within the National Trail System. Today, it is best known as the Trail of Tears. The forced removal of Native peoples remains a black mark on our American history and reminds those who desire freedom that all people deserve a life of liberty, regardless of race, religion, and ethnicity. Diane, lead us on.
Good evening, everyone. It's such a pleasure to see you all here. We did not do name tags. So what I'd like you to do at this point is introduce yourself to a neighbor or something and just say what congregation you're from and your name, and just take a second or two to introduce yourself to someone who you're sitting by, just quickly. Okay, I should have known that we would go off on a tangent. I'm so glad you've met somebody and actually got out of your seat to say hello. So, just so you know, if you see a bookmark anywhere, on the back table or any table, they are free. And please make yourself available to them. And there is a sign-up sheet over by Christine. And over on that table is our registration for our November fundraising dinner that we would just so much love to have you all there. And in the back, there are sign-ups for several of our programs. And if you're interested, I would say, please sign up. You could easily be on a committee and maybe just bring your voice. So often we just don't have the voice. It doesn't mean that you have to spend your life on that committee, but if you can be, or you think something is engaging to you, please just let us know you're interested. It has been a privilege to serve on the I4C board this year. It's been quite what I call a transitional year. We've done several new things that we've never done before. For example, the fundraiser. And we're looking to find our way still coming out of COVID. But I feel that I personally needed that year to really ground myself. I have one goal. my main goal is to be sure that we ensure that this group can continue on in the future. That's not saying that much, in a way, because we really need to continue this beloved community on. And my main goal is to make sure that it does that, and that's not going to be an easy task. And we need all the help and prayers that you can give. The other thing is, we have a fabulous board. These people are dedicated to the interfaith community. And I'm just going to lift them up quickly. There's Dr. Erica Baines, who was our past president, and she provided experience and advice for us, and is our governing board representative with the regional faith coordination. David Longhurst, who could not be here tonight because he's sick, organized our documents into Google Drive, which has facilitated our ability to work together, and he's also our iChange representative. I would like to say, who doesn't know Father Tom Bonacci? I feel like I've just met him, and so I'm just in awe of that man. And he is, of course, our special series and retreats person. And if you have not seen that Coping for Nationalism series, it is fabulous. And of course, we have Reverend Julius here, who is our just wonderful Reverend with the Contra Costa Probation Department, and he takes care of our spiritual care and chaplaincy budget and helps with that. And he is the iChange program overseer, and because of his efforts, we have been able to hire Reverend Alexander Spearman to add to that iChange. Fabulous, just fabulous. And I can't thank Rodney Lemary. He is our centering and spiritual advisor, and he's our partner and is helping to facilitate our November fundraiser. Christine Nadeau is full of passion and love and has just dived into being our development committee director and has updated our grants and has set up matching fund campaigns. Marianne Cropper is our treasurer and has provided monthly budget analysis and updated our financial policies. So all of this transition has come from updating and really revising the finance, how we work, and how we work together to making this a fantastic professional organization. And of course, Dennis is our social representative, social justice representative, and an experienced advisor as well. And I see many of the people are not here, but Reverend Julius, Dennis, and who am I missing? Christine, would you please stand up? And thank you very much. Reverend Rodney.
And Diane Maltese, our chair.
I also would like to give a great gratitude to Charlotte Jin. She is our just wonderful, fantastic manager who helped us tonight and will help us in fundraisers as well. We are, our bylaws state that the governing board is to have 9 and 12 members. We currently have 7. If you feel you have something to offer and would like to know more, contact Will. And we're seeking any help, such as legal, writing, development, project manager, anything, research, any kind of development and work with communications. Now, that doesn't mean you have to feel guilty that you do that. Help us find people. Help us find a lawyer that is willing to maybe work with a nonprofit. Help us find someone who's great at writing. Help us find these people. Don't do it yourself. Help us find them. So, Share your joy of being a member of I4C with anyone who will listen. Let them know how much you enjoyed the information in informative EC meetings, the special programs such as iChange, and our efforts in SOJA with support the rights of others, or ICANN, which keeps a check on our environmental issues. You can let people know about Father Bonacci's Coping with Nationalism series, or the Diffusing Hatred series, or the studies of white supremacy and how they would work well with a study group. Tell people how much you enjoyed the I4C field trips to the Indian Museum in Nevada or the Hindu temple in Livermore. You can share your participation in the monthly Meaningful Monday book discussion, or share how much you enjoyed volunteering for the latest iCare project, or the iChange mentoring program that is actually coming to fruition. I think you should clap. Go ahead. Tell them how proud you are of the Council's rapid response statements that supports and uplifts other faith communities who are going through social prejudice or conflict. Tell them we are actually living in what it means to be a beloved community that is all about care and compassion. Thank you so much.
And thank you to Diane for keeping us going as our chair. So this is what our COVID or pre-COVID elected council meetings used to look like, in a big circle in a big room like this. Yes. And we could see each other's faces, and we could share even our deepest yearnings for the world we want to help create. And COVID put us there, right? And in many ways, this has really helped us as an interfaith council, because we're so diverse, coming from so many different communities, that there were times that Father Tom would take 2 to 2.5 hours coming from Antioch to make it to a meeting of our elected council in Walnut Creek, with all of the commute and the horrible traffic coming out of East County, and getting more folks coming from West County. We know that we want to be able to make attending these meetings as easy as possible. So we're going to keep using Zoom as our tool as much as we can. And then every 3 months we come together in a hybrid, so those that feel like being in person can do so. And we can still have small group conversations with the folks that are on Zoom. And we've got it on Facebook Live today and YouTube here. And so wave to all of the folks that might be at home there. And we're grateful to be together even as we do this work. And we used to, during COVID, we used to meet every Mondays because folks wanted to be able to get together and try to figure out what life was like. So we created Meaningful Mondays. We've moved it to the first Monday unless it's a holiday, and then it goes to the second Mondays now. And we've been reading this book by Barbara Brown Taylor called Holy Envy. And it is so good, right? And it shares experiences of college-age students who are in a comparative religion class, and she's the teacher, and she's sharing all the things that she learns about other faith traditions, especially when they're able to go out and do some of the field trips like we've been practicing too. We've been able to curate all of our programming onto YouTube. So if you miss an elected council meeting or an International Day of Peace or an International Women's Day program, you can find it on our YouTube channel. And it's easy, it's YouTube/C/Interfaith Council of Contra Costa County with no spaces. One big long word, Interfaith Council of Contra Costa County. And all of our programming, including this, will be there. And it's really given us the ability, you can see how many different playlists. These are just the playlists. We have anti-racism, social safety net, our annual meetings, Rossmore Interfaith Council, Interfaith San Ramon Valley, Social Justice Alliance, Interfaith Spirituality. Ben Jones did a great recording with his singing bowls early on. Remember that? We even have the big questions from Rossmore, and there's just even all of our elected council meetings. You can go back and you can watch any of them and get a real sense of the kind of dialogue that we do during these meetings. And we've restructured ourselves about 7 or 8 years ago to be able to spend more time in dialogue or getting really good presentations from the county like we had last month on disaster preparedness. And we do have an interfaith disaster network that we're trying to get folks preparing now for when either the big one or the wildfires or some other local flooding comes through our areas. We know how the community can work together to be able to make a difference in other people's lives. We also have the big questions that the Rossmore Interfaith Council, we have these Valley and East County United and a Pleasant Hill Ministerial Group that all do programs together. Most interesting one, some of the speakers inside of these, where they have one question for the year, and then you have multiple people sharing how they would answer that from their particular social and religious location. And it just really helps us understand how diverse each of our communities are. I love to say if there are 2 billion Christians, there are 2 billion Christianities. Amen. Right? Right. And it lets us be able to share our approaches to faith and what makes sense for us with others in a way that broadens the conversation rather than trying to homogenize everything. That's not what we're about. We've done programs this year, including two showings of We Are All Newtown. We even, Pastor Dale and his wife had lunch with Pastor Saylor here that's in this picture, who was the pastor in Hartford, Connecticut, who, when the Sandy Hook shooting happened, wondered, well, when we're being asked to come to the suburban area where the Sandy Hook shooting, we want you to come see what's going on in Hartford and what the community of faith in Hartford's going through on an everyday basis, and really starting to cross-fertilize their work against gun violence, because there's really horrible numbers still around gun violence. We've hosted vigils, we've hosted trainings. This is probably the best film that I've seen out there from any faith group that's really trying to address this and finding faith leaders and folks in their communities that really want to make a difference on gun violence, and really commend that to you. And then, of course, the field trips. We had this big, fabulous field trip to the American Indian Museum in Novato. Learned a lot about the coastal Miwok and the way that they live. They would live in some of the buildings like you see on the left there, and what they would eat and how they would organize their lives and what made sense for them, what still makes sense for us today. Of course, it's been a hard year too, as some of the past to our knowledge. This was actually a crisis of faith I had as a Presbyterian, knowing my denomination participated in this system, stealing Native American kids from their homes in order to use cultural genocide to take away their culture and their language and their name, and even their hair. And it was really heartening to see the Pope this year go and be with them and really walk with them and try to understand more about how the faith community can be a part of the healing there. And a lot of that takes spending that amount of time, right? And really going deeper with folks. We also lost some interfaith global leaders when you think about it. Bell Hooks, a lot of her writing has definitely informed my own interfaith spirituality and others. It was Archbishop Desmond Tutu, died since our last meeting. And we also lost Tay Nikan. And Sasheen Littlefeather was the Native American woman who Marlon Brando asked to come up and receive an award on his behalf and really call out the film industry for the way that they were using and abusing Native Americans in film. Great quote here from Michael Meade, if you haven't heard of Michael Meade, you should go Google him, because he's a great mythologist and he knows all of these myths from so many different cultures. But he says, the world as we knew it is already gone. The point now is to inhabit a bigger, unifying living myth in which the words, we are all in this together, have genuine, heartfelt meaning. That is a lot of the work that we do as an interfaith council. And the other is to stand with faith communities that are under fire. There's an anti-Semitic flyer posted on the Iron Horse Trail not too far from here in Happy Valley. And when the faith community here and our iServe group got together, they decided they needed to have a big response, because this has happened before, and they didn't do the kind of response that they really wanted to. And so it was Beth Heim and Steve Harms from Peace Lutheran and the San Ramon Valley Islamic Center and so many other groups that came together for a big walk throughout downtown Danville with signs against the anti-Semitism. And then they had a great program just outside the library as well. Great signs, great number of people out there walking in a February. Wasn't too cold or hot or anything like that, but it was good to be able to see so many people out, people honking, people responding, people glad to be able to see that there was a community response. It kind of felt like 2007 after the arson at the Islamic Center of the East Bay when 500 people came out in March from City Hall past your mosque. And we did a prayer service for peace in all of the cities of East County, because of when one faith community is being targeted like this, we really do need to rally together to be able to stand with them, because I do think it makes a difference when the haters see that there is a real response to the hate that they express, and that people really don't want to live that way, and that we really do want to belong. So hearing all the great speakers, great music from Beth Heim and other congregations were there as well. Great, it was some of the leaders that are still a part of the Interfaith San Ramon Valley that helped us become Interfaith in 1997 from the Council of Churches, when we were just the Council of Churches and only let mainline Protestants in, didn't even let Catholics or Mormons or New Thought Christians in. Oh my. We've had to repent about that because we realized that we were keeping a lot of other voices from our dialogues. It's also been a year with this war in Ukraine that we really needed to be able to do a lot of work. So we did a great program in Rossmore on understanding more about what's really going on. And we had some great fundraisers, one at Unity Walnut Creek that they did outside, even in the dark. And then one at the Antioch Adventist Church, which was just fabulous. It had such diverse musical sharings. Folks from Ukraine and the Ukraine Friendship Society in San Francisco were there. Filipino singers, great trumpetist, organ, piano. It was just an amazing time to be together and to raise some funds. Of course, Memorial Day, as well as other times in the world, in the year, we're at the Lafayette Hillside Memorial for those that have been lost in the wars, and I've often been asked to speak there. Over the last couple of years, we've added some events for those congregations that have LGBTQ folks in their membership, and the transgender we did in the park. And it's their faith council in that way. Our ICANN group, our Interfaith Action Network, in Antioch to try and keep any of the drilling being proposed in residential neighborhoods from being too close to the houses or schools. And then, of course, Lauren Van Ham, who works for the United Religious Initiative, came and she's preached it for me in my congregation before, but I thought we should really have a conversation about what is the future preparation we need to do around it's the 5 R's. He keeps talking about the 4 R's and adaptability and Jim Bendel's deep adaptation. And it was just a fascinating conversation there as well. So one of the things that we started just a few years ago, and Bill Rust, a member here, has been a part of the team, is our yearly retreats. This year we had 3 to finish up a 2-year theme on nurturing the beloved community. And this year we learned about Dr. Jaz Naqvi's Hajj experience and how important that was for him, and as an anti-racism component of his own faith. And being able to really look at that, we had Chief Philip Scott come and do some important work with us from an indigenous perspective in Lakota. Of course, Father Tambanachi kind of wrapped together 2 years of our conversation. Started with Reverend Dr. Blanking on his name now, the Church for the Fellowship of All People in San Francisco. And, we had presentations from a Jewish perspective, and
as well as various Christians, including Black folk religion, and how that's influenced the Black church from Reverend Kamal Hassan. And then our other field trip was at the Hindu temple in Livermore. If you've never been to a Hindu temple, you need to go visit this temple. They will show you all around. It is just an amazing, I was so full walking away from this building on a hot summer day. We had a great presentation beforehand, and just watching so many people go into the different shrines and sharing their prayers was just very powerful. And then, of course, we did an International Day of Peace program, and this year we had some of our anti-racism money still, so we put together a great conversation about how Islamophobia is one of our last acceptable forms of discrimination in this country. And Maha Hilal really put together a fabulous conversation with Fresh Lev White, and we even had a litany. This is one of the most powerful things I think I've ever done. A litany on Together We Will Abolish Guantanamo, a litany for freedom, and very powerful. So all of these different programs, including all of our anti-racism trainings that we've had over the last few years, especially during COVID, are there on YouTube. They're there for you to use in your Sunday schools, your Saturday schools, before Juma prayer on Fridays. Whenever your congregation is together and you want to use different aspects, we really invite you to be a part of that. We've put together some other interfaith skills, some of the other programs we've done in the past, including at this congregation, like our Diffusing Hatred program, our Everyday Peacemaking program, and our Courageous Conversations program. All three of these are recorded, and they're on the YouTube for you and your congregation to use as well. And then, of course, as was mentioned earlier, Father Tom put together a great 4-part series called Coping with Nationalisms. It really takes a very nuanced look at what's going on with Christian nationalism in this country, and especially with white supremacist Christian nationalism that's being expressed in a lot of fundamentalist circles, and really invites us to think about how we can stay in conversations with people so that there's a chance that we might be able to draw them away from that. And it's just they're about an hour or less at each one of these, so you could do a 4-week study with any group in your congregation if you wanted to put those together, and they're just there on our YouTube page for you to be able to share. We do have an interfaith disaster network, and we really want to get this going, especially now that we're starting to come out of COVID. If there's one person in your congregation that is the point person for being prepared, if there's a flood or a fire or an earthquake, I need to know who that person is so that we can find the best time to meet. And we can then work together with our county's VOAD, which is Voluntary Organizations Addressing Disaster, to be able to meet those needs. That's a real important piece as well. We do have a Thanksgiving service coming together. It's going to be Sunday, November 20th, most likely at Christ the King at 2 p.m. We haven't firmed all of that up, and you'll be getting more information as we do. But if you want to be a part of that service, let me know, and I'll get you on the planning team with Multi-Faith Action Coalition and our friends at Faith in Action. So we do a lot in partnership, because it's in partnership that we're able to leverage not only each other's resources, but each other's spaces and each other's folks that really want to work on a lot of these programs together. And then we're also invited to become a part of global interfaith groups like the Parliament of the World's Religions, which is meeting next August 14th through 18th in Chicago, Illinois. Friends, this is the closest it's going to be, because it's been so close in Salt Lake City in 20, and then it was 2018 in Toronto. This is probably going to go to other continents soon. So this might be the easiest way for you to ever attend. And the Parliament of the World's Religions began in 1893. It was the first of its ever-kind interfaith program that was put on as a part of the World Fair in Chicago in 1893. It went underground for 100 years until the interfaith community in Chicago said, we need to do this again, especially with the 100th anniversary coming. So they did it in 1993, and then it's been rotating to Melbourne and Barcelona and Cape Town, South Africa, and all of these other places around the world, until it came back to Salt Lake City in 2015, because the Church of Saints offered space inside the Salt Palace and helped the leadership to bring that together. We're going to try let me just say, we're gonna try and rent an Airbnb with enough space for our whole group, if possible. And if we need to do 2 of those, to have enough people to go together so that we can be together to talk about our experiences at night, that's gonna be really good as well. We really want to be a part of this global interfaith movement. They decided to have these every 3 years. After Salt Lake City, they realized that we were working on climate change so much, and so many people, especially indigenous people from around the world, are working on those issues, that we needed to be together more often. So they now happen every 3 years. The last one was on online, and it was fun, but it wasn't the same as being there with 10,000 of your closest interfaith friends, right? So we have some other ministry reports, and this is a brief look at some of the work that we do, but we want you to give you a deep dive into some of the other ministries. So Reverend Julius and Reverend Alexandria, come on forward and show us and tell us more about the chaplaincy and iChange.
Thank you, Reverend Will.
Thank
A
you.
very spirited and very passionate display and show of what we've been doing, and I'm so very excited and to be with you all.
You have to use the microphone for the folks to be able to hear you today.
Hi, everyone. We are so excited to be here today to give you our report. Again, we are very excited to continue to engage in all of the work of the Interfaith Council and see all of the great things we are a part of and we're doing. But it's been a wonderful year with the chaplaincy ministry as well as iChange. And our fruit of that is standing right here. The Reverend Alexandria Spearman, who has joined us. We've gotten some help, which means that our work has been effective, and it was effective when Reverend Tinsley was there. We're still standing on the shoulders of his greatness and the 24-year tenure that he put in the amazing work. We're able to continue that, not just through our chaplaincy ministry, but also through iChange, which is kind of a continuation of getting out of Dodge with our own spin on it, through the mentoring program and different ways of providing spiritual care for the young people that we serve in this county. Reverend Alexandria would like to share more of some of our one-on-one experiences. I threw her in with the kids, and I just want to, we're not gonna give any names or anything like that, but just highlight a couple of our experiences. We've had experiences with youth that have had all types of traumas, but the way that they've opened up to us, and the way that they have received Reverend Alexandria, and the way that her ministry is really blooming and blossoming in the juvenile settings has been great. And I just would like to allow her a minute to share.
Thank you, thank you. Hello, everyone.
Look down a little bit so we can hear you better.
Perfect. Okay, hello. There we are. It is not easy to walk into a center built to detain youth for a moment until they can collect themselves and gather up what's going on within them. There are so many things that are going on within their spirits, within their emotions, within their physical bodies. These are children growing and developing. And walking into the beautifully redesigned and renewed Martinez John A. Davis Hall is an experience. The walls are yellow, it is sunshine to look at. And yet we talk about our youth with a shroud, a covering over them. Having been able to go inside and peek underneath that covering and having them show me what's underneath their covering has shown me that our youth are just as I thought they were, whole and complete. And speaking with our youth and seeing them wrestle with their struggles and tell me about what's going on in the inside, it's been quite astonishing to see the way that they've decorated their rooms. See, we know that there's a trauma aspect and there are hurtful pieces inside all of us, but we always look to shine our light on those dark places, yes?
You better preach.
Okay. But to walk in and see their spaces filled with hope, filled with some of the inspirational cards sent to us from the St. Joseph's Church, Santa Maria Church, also St. Anne's, to see those cards on their walls that say, hold on, help is here. Seeing them having their homework laid out and say, you know, everything is against me and I may be in this small room and I may not have everything right and I may not have grown up in spaces that work out for me, but you know what, I'm gonna stick my mind on what I'm doing right here. And so I'm very grateful that our iChange opportunity allows for just adults to come in and say, yeah, you can do it. Yeah, I've seen the darkness you've seen. Yes, I know the light that you can see also. It's right there. You just need someone to show you just a little bit. And I'm so grateful that we have had an opportunity. As you can see, our mentors just last week had an opportunity to step into the halls after a year of training. Let's give it up to our mentors. There's dedication, there's passion, and there is a call to do what they are doing. There is also a call to those who are giving spiritual group services to our youth. Our youth, some of them, there was one person in their life who knew something about a light, a faith that gave them a light, a faith that gave them a hope, a faith that gave them something a blanket, a comfort blanket to wrap them in. And so having someone come in and say, yeah, I know about that faith too. Keep on going. It's all building up what's inside of them. And in this image here in the middle, I just would like to point out Reverend Van Hook. We've had the opportunity to go out into the community, into the neighborhoods. We visited Alhambra High School, where the youth, I believe in the 11th and 12th grade courses, there was a world religions and sociology, as well as a law class, were able to learn about both the juvenile chaplaincy and iChange and put the pieces together. How does it all work? What is the steps from here to here? And even see where they can participate in prevention before going in, or I need some mentoring before I go into the hall, somebody help me. So it's the beloved community, I just want to remind us, does include our children. And lastly, I just would like to say thank you for allowing me to be here and the opportunity to share my passion and love for shared community.
And together, we just want to say that we love Mrs. Meg. Meg Keeley, we love you. Can you stand? Meg Keeley is our trainer and our mentor coordinator, and there is no iChange without Mrs. Margaret Keeley, and we love you.
And we're going to recognize her on her own a little later today too. That's right. iCare is one of our newer ministries. When Winter Nights became independent and a 501c3 all of their own, we tried to figure out how do we get people to serve together, and Terry Moss came up with this great idea, and I'll let her tell a little bit about it herself.
Hi, my name is Terry Moss. I'm the founder of iCare, a program offered uniquely through the Interfaith Council of Contra Costa County. Through iCare, people of different faith traditions have the opportunity to get together and be of service to people in need. While our faiths may be different, one thing we have in common is valuing being of service. So you can have your faith community participate in an iCare project and invite maybe a neighbor of a different faith tradition to join you. That way, you all enjoy the benefits of being of service to those in need, plus you get to know people you might not have otherwise gotten to know. Please join us in the coming year and experience the joy of being of service. Now, look at what we have done in the past year. Look forward to seeing you in the coming year.
Having our hearts so kind together to help some people that we don't even know who they are, never met them, right? This is a blessing, and the power of the legend heard today, that we will not only be able to be some service that makes a difference, but that we will leave here differently and think differently about our fellow brothers and sisters. Thank you.
I was born in the lost and found, and often raised in the underground. And one day I opened up my eyes, looked around and I realized someone said we're one family. Can that be with all this poverty? Time to reach out and make a start. Hold each other's hands and lift each other's hearts. If you're thirsty, drink water from my hand. If you're hungry, well, I'll understand. If you know me, you can only share my bed. If it's beyond the reach of east and someone said, you're never alone in the world. Never alone in the world. Never alone. You believe in each and every one of us. Never alone in the world, baby.
Such informative. And so if you have an iCare project that you want to work on, we have a whole committee that's trying to plan 1, 2, 3, 4 months in the future. If you want to do something in West County or East County, let us know and we'll work with you to try and make it happen. The other, this was one that they put together just in January of last year. Social Justice Alliance, Dennis, where are you? Come on up. Dennis is a co-chair of our Social Justice Alliance. This is actually the group that helped us become interfaith as well, because when they became part of the council, they were including the Jews and the Catholics and the other folks, and so it kind of pushed us to become more interfaith and even trying to push that broaden our inclusion even more. So please, Dennis.
My name is Dennis Wasco, and I'm the co-director, as Will said. We're looking for another co-director, so if any of you are willing and would like to, please step up and join me. It's so good to see all of you. As everybody else has said, we can finally see people in person. And I've got a granddaughter over in Germany, and every week we talk to them by Skype. And so I have become Opa in a box. So hopefully in interfaith work, we won't have to be in a box much longer. Well, like Will said, it's part of our normal way of operating now. But at the same time, it's so good to see everybody in person. A tenet of every one of our religions is to care for other people. And each of our religions has as its tenet that we have to have social justice. It's at the core of what we do. It's at the core of I4C. It was what I4C was originally formed with, was the idea of caring for other people, of social justice. So with the Social Justice Committee, Social Justice Alliance, we've, ever since Winter Nights spun off, and by the way, Bill, congratulations, and I hope you're feeling well and doing well with Winter Nights. Ever since Winter Nights spun off from the Social Justice, from SOJA, we've continued to work with various other social organizations. Like Will said, we work in conjunction with, we work with these various organizations, and some of them that we work with are like EBHO, which is the East Bay Housing Opportunity, Multi-Faith Action Coalition, FAME, which is the Faith Alliance for a Moral Economy, and the Poor People's Campaign. So we work in conjunction, supporting all of those other groups and the good work that they do. At the same time, SOJA monitors the work of the governments at all levels, both in the local and the state and even the national. Not so much the national is our group involved in, but we're mainly involved in the local and state. And that involves an awful lot of work. That involves Jan Warren going to a city council meeting and sitting for hours and hours until a particular ordinance comes up for a vote. And so there's an awful lot of work that has to go into this coordination. Some of the main issues on our plate are affordable housing, homelessness, racial justice, the law enforcement reform, income equity, and climate change. Again, Jan works very hard with the iChange group in trying to put forward many of the changes that need to happen in regard to climate change. And we're constantly working on different projects, and some of the most recent projects that we've had, the first one is the redevelopment of the Concord Naval Weapons Station. I'm sure all of you have been hearing about that for the last 10 years.
Or more.
And is anything ever going to get done? And after 10 years, there still hasn't been one shovelful of dirt overturned. And so we are involved in trying, at least recently, in trying to make sure that the choice that the City Council of Concord makes in regard to a new developer is best for Concord. It's best for the people of Concord. And that's an awfully big thing to overcome. As you know, there's been an awful lot of controversy in that regard. But our main goal is to make sure that whoever the developer is, that they make sure that they have affordable housing as part of the final work in the program that they have. And what we are pushing for is to have at least 25% of the new residences that are built to be affordable housing. To make sure that there's also an option for the homeless in that whole thing. One of the most controversial issues in the last couple of years has been the killing of two young African-American mentally challenged young men. And that was done by the same deputy sheriff. And so we, along with many other community groups, have been working we're working to make sure that justice was served. And luckily, and with a lot of hard work, it was served. And the particular sheriff deputy is now serving a term for manslaughter. Another recent project that we had, and this is very recent, is the rent stabilization ordinance, which was passed by the Antioch City Council in August. And with this ordinance, and again, this took an awful lot of work, and especially by the faith communities and so on in the East Bay. And with this ordinance, rents are limited to 60% of the CPI with a 3% cap every year. And this happens to be the most powerful and the strongest rent stabilization law in the Bay County. And FAME, which is one of the groups that we work with, and SOJA worked very hard in that regard. So these are just a couple of examples of the work that we do. And again, as I said, most of our people are involved in other groups, that we work with. So we kind of are a liaison to those other groups, a liaison to I4C, to the Executive Council, and hopefully we are able to get most of that information and what is being done in regard to social justice out to the larger interfaith community. So, as in all of the speeches that we've had today, come and join us. We're always looking for more people. We are definitely would like to have you be able to follow your passion and to come and join us. There's the sign-up sheet in the back. So thank you very much.
Well said. And some of our committees, like the Interfaith Climate Action Network, also has a Facebook page where there's lots of informational postings that are put up. And sometimes closer to Earth Day, you'll receive something in one of our e-blasts like this that will give you links to some of the information that you can use if you wanted to do a sermon series on creation care during that time, or how to join us for some of the advocacy that we're doing around the 5 refineries that are here in the Bay Area. My denomination just divested from 4 of the 5 refineries, but that was 10 years of work to be able to get them to do that. But if you want to find other folks that are willing to do some of that work in order to do some of the work even in your own faith tradition, we really encourage you to take a look at the ICANN. Maybe once a month. And Jan, raise your hand so that everyone can see you're our convener of the ICANN. That's an important piece of our work. And then next, Singing Messengers. Marjorie, come on up. We've got some great pictures. You guys are able to go public for the first time.
Yes, indeed. And I cannot tell you what a pleasure it is to be here with you in person. I am so happy to be here. Yes, it's been a tough 2.5 years. Excuse me, I need these to do anything. With all that we've been through, Singing Messengers have had their challenges, but we are thrilled. And I can say happily that we are back, at least for now, and we're just kind of hoping for the best. It is such a joy to continue our mission of inspiring and uplifting seniors in facilities and hospitals throughout Contra Costa County. It's a pretty amazing experience. Last spring, we offered programs to 57 facilities, all 57 of our facilities. And we got yes responses from 32 of those. Mind you, this is last spring. What happened to that wonderful response? By the time our 10 weeks was over, we had only 14 of the facilities were able to be seen due to COVID and norovirus. So we knew we were still in a bit of trouble. This fall, we invited the same 57 facilities And this year we had 55 respond.
All right.
Which was amazing, and it took a lot of work to reconnect with those wonderful people. Let's see. So they're now able to receive our visits. We have 3 teams, 3 different choruses, 2 work on Tuesday mornings, and the 3rd works on Thursday mornings. And hopefully we will not get no cancellations. We're just hoping that the COVID situation continues to improve. So, how are we doing? Well, we've noticed that some of our audiences have been much larger than in the past, seeming to signify that our guests are really hungry for entertainment, for visitors, for uplifting. And residents have called out to us, "I remember you." And yeah, as we perform, even among our singers, the shared excitement and joy in the room is palpable and very contagious. And thank you for sort of mirroring that when we were doing the chicken dance. That's kind of how it is. Nothing but this. It is just amazing. As we leave the programs, our guests seem reluctant to have us go. And what I'm noticing is we are in no hurry to leave. So these treasured visits, weekly visits, are they continue to feel like a very warm group hug. And it's very special. Restarting our Singing Messengers program, however, effort that followed our 50-year-plus history with all of those who have gone before, has been really challenging. There's been new senior home ownership, name changes, new facility contacts, new email addresses, phone numbers, very, very hard to reconnect. Our teams once had more than 90 singers. This is the hard part. And now we are operating with 40 singers, and I feel very happy to have that many. That's how many out of the 90 were willing to return in this particular environment. We perform with as few as 4 performers, and on a really good day, there will be 12 or 13. So please be honored with how many showed up tonight. I'm very proud of them. I want to acknowledge all of the Singing Messenger heroes who even made it possible for our mission to go on. They worked very, very hard to do all of the things that need to be done to make this happen. So we begin anew, just like some of you are having to do, starting over, building our performance teams, renewing and growing our facility relationships, and most importantly, carrying on our mission of healing through the power of music.
We've had so many good reports that we're running a little bit long, so I hope that you can stay past 8:30 as we are able to, so we're able to honor all of our Making a Difference awardees and others as well. Is Tanisha Walker here yet? Not seeing her yet. Okay. Reverend Dr. Charles Tinsley IV served for 24 years at Juvenile Hall as our chaplain. Yoo-hoo is right. He is only, he only beat Reverend Keith Spooner by 1 year, 25 years, his predecessor. When Reverend Julius told us he wanted to have that long of a career, it was one of the reasons why we decided we needed to hire Reverend Julius. Because he's standing on some big shoulders. So Dr. Tinsley was not able to make it here because of health reasons, was not able to travel, but we have this recording that we'd love to share with you today. Come on.
Good evening to you all on this another glorious day of life. I'm so sorry I cannot be there with you personally, but thankfully we've been blessed with the technology that makes my virtual presence possible. I bring you hearty greetings from the beautiful city of Cincinnati, an area where indigenous peoples, including the native Shawnee and Miami, once thrived for thousands of years before the arrival of foreign invaders who committed genocide and took away their land. I also speak to you from the place where numbers of my ancestors came nearly 200 years ago as refugees seeking escape from an existence of cruel and inhumane enslavement in the South. I'm a proud sixth-generation native in this area, and although I'm happy to be back home, I maintain the fondest of memories of education, work, and times during my many marvelous and productive years in the Bay Area. I bring you greetings too from the Legacy Village Senior Living Community in Xenia, Ohio, where I serve as chaplain. Legacy Village is owned and operated by the National Church Residences, a corporation founded in love and compassion for older adults some 61 years ago by Presbyterian pastor, the Reverend John R. Glenn, and 4 Presbyterian churches in Central Ohio. Most importantly this evening, though, I want to thank Reverend Wilbur Garvey, my Presbyterian colleague, Reverend Xavier Van Hook, my most able successor in the chaplaincy there, and you all of the Interfaith Council for the remarkable tribute you have paid honoring you with the title of Chaplain Emeritus. For that, my wife and advocate of 45 years and I are very much appreciative. So members, supporters, and friends of the council, please take this moment to reflect upon and mightily rejoice in the fact that 2022 represents the 60th consecutive year that full-time chaplaincy ministry has been lovingly and deliberately provided to the residents and their families and to the staff in Contra Costa County's juvenile detention facilities. What a magnificent expression of community, of love and grace, and the sentiment of we care by this organization and its predecessor body, the Council of Churches. One friend of the council, married priest and supervisor at Juvenile Hall, years ago aptly and accurately described our special labor and ministry as the outreach to the hurt and hurting babies of our community. Friends, almost to this very day 2 years ago, I was admitted into the hospital here in Cincinnati. Soon afterwards, sent to the intensive care unit, was highly sedated, intubated, and on the mechanical ventilator for 7 days, and it wasn't COVID. Very survival was in question. The cause of a severe and life-threatening pulmonary condition we still believe was the inhalation of the toxic smoke from the fires out there in 2017 and 2018. I had been under medical care in California for that condition, even before coming to Ohio full-time in 2019. A serious infection that ultimately affected both lungs in their entirety simply continued to worsen in 2020, and rapidly so. At the lowest point when my lung function had deteriorated to 20% of normal, one attending pulmonologist strongly suggested and recommended that I be made comfortable and to simply be allowed to die peacefully. Even in that weakened state, quite near death, I said to that gentleman, no, I'm going to fight. And dear friends, I continue to do so. Once off the ventilator, however, I was paralyzed from the neck down. Initially, I could either sit up in bed, sit on the side of the bed, or transition into a wheelchair without the close attention and assistance of two people. Could have easily given up. Passed out more than once during the initial stages of physical and occupational therapy. Had to relearn how to move in the bed, to sit, to stand, to walk, to speak above a raspy whisper, to attend to personal needs, could not even hold a fork. Due to COVID restrictions, visitations were not allowed for 15 of the 19 weeks while in the hospital. Post-acute care and skilled nursing facilities, including during Thanksgiving, Christmas, and the New Year holidays. This was truly the medical institution version of solitary confinement. And it took a tremendous toll. Could have easily given up. Took months to learn to walk again, even after returning home. To climb the stairs, to drive, required 12 additional weeks of outpatient physical therapy. Still not yet 100%. Maybe never will be. So many reasons to give up and give in. But dear friends, my Contra Costa College students 40 years ago, the Cal students I counseled while engaged in campus ministry in Berkeley more than 30 years ago, and finally the precious Contra Costa hurting babies in custody on probation and beyond again in 1994, heard from me the very same loud refrain in the midst of their tribulations and challenges: no giving up or giving in aloud. Service in the ministry there was a tremendous blessing and a remarkable gift to me. And folks, thankfully, that gift keeps giving. So very many of those who heard and ultimately embraced the message and concept of no giving up or giving in aloud have truly become a de facto family. Most unorthodox, yes. Beautiful expression of love, absolutely. The very first hurting baby I encountered in juvenile hall in September 1994 was only 12 years old at the time. Even then, and for quite a few years afterward, his experiences provided ample opportunities to give up and give in. He didn't, and he hasn't. Presently, he functions as an executive in an engineering firm. Even now, he's in the process of moving here to Cincinnati, where his company is based. He will be joining a half dozen others here in Southwest Ohio, who courageously relocated from Contra Costa, who have not only not given up or given in, they are here thriving. Then, of course, there's the now high-profile founder and CEO of a Bay Area multi-million-dollar company, who founded himself at 15 years of age in January 1995 in juvenile hall. His story has been shared internationally. There had been many reasons to give up and to give in. He didn't. He's never been out of touch and has been a frequent visitor here. He is excelling. Others who set aside the adversities in early life and to go on to complete college and graduate degrees include an attorney in Los Angeles and a social worker also in Los Angeles. Equally accomplished, a now Phoenix resident who is a realtor and teacher and the associate pastor of a church in St. Louis. They are all raising beautiful children. Several years ago, Community Presbyterian Church in Danville and Sojourner Truth Presbyterian Church in Richmond provided the opportunity for an entire family of 3 to relocate to Richmond, Indiana, just 50 miles northwest of Cincinnati. A mother's elder 15-year-old son, then in custody, was under threat of imminent death upon his release. I understand they are all doing well. The son is reported to be working and recently became a father. Mere months ago, again, Sojourner Truth Church stepped up, and along with additional financial support from the Presbyterian of Cincinnati and several generous donors, a mother with 3 young children, unsheltered and unemployed in East Bay, was provided the means to come here to Cincinnati. An elder son of hers and I first became acquainted at the Orton Allen facility in Byron 13 years ago. This mother and her children had many reasons to give up and give in. They didn't, and they haven't. Among the once hurt or hurting babies of that community, about whom I am aware and in contact, there are also those who are conducting their lives productively and with fervor as electricians, painters, truck drivers, self-employed entrepreneurs, warehouse forklift drivers. There's even a certified arborist in that number. And there's another segment of that population once touched in God's sight by the chaplaincy ministry and the facilities there with whom I'm still in contact. Thus fortunate of their present circumstances, they now reside in local jails, California state and federal prisons. Few days pass when phone calls, often multiple calls, are not received from folks away in those dreadful spaces. Several of them, among the 20 or so who communicate with me on a regular basis, are never coming home. Nevertheless, these individuals are availing themselves of vocational, educational, spiritual, and self-growth opportunities in prison, such as they exist. In spite of that, even this group within their context are not giving up and not giving in. To recognize and to salute their resolute nature, I accept and pay for collect phone calls, and for many years have routinely provided some folks with quarterly care packages. The Holy One, the God who called me to that place of service nearly 30 years ago, the very one who makes a way out of no way, has sustained me through it all and despite everything. No giving up and no giving in is allowed. For that, I'm eternally grateful. So council members, officers, supporters, and friends of the organization, enjoy one another's company this evening and joyfully celebrate your labors in and through the grace of the Most High. Amen and amen.
Reverend Julius is going to come receive the honors on Charles's behalf. We've never done this before. We made it a Lifetime Achievement Award. And then we got this, you can see it probably in the picture on the screen, that will be sent with the certificate.
What does it say, Will?
I wrote a bit on it. Nominated by the Governing Board of the Interfaith Council for your decades of leadership of the Juvenile Hall Chaplaincy, we officially name you Chaplain Emeritus. The tough love, caring, compassion, and help you gave to so many has set the standard for interfaith chaplaincy to young people not only here in Contra Costa, but across all of California. May you be blessed with the same measure you have been a blessing to so many. We thank you for making Contra Costa a more compassionate place. And very deserving for him, definitely. If you wouldn't mind just keeping that up, because we're going to do a few other awards here too. Meg Keeley, come on down. We started the Making a Difference Award about 10 years ago, and this is our way of sharing those portions that you may not know about all the great things that are happening, and for us to be able to really share the great work that folks are doing. And Meg has created just an amazing curriculum for our iChange mentors. I think we had about 10 or 12 people start, and we had 6 people that are still ready to go in and serve the youth in juvenile hall. And the fabulous, culturally competent, amazing curriculum for folks, and folks like Joe that have been a part of it can attest to this. But we really wanted to lift up what an amazing job she's done in putting this together. And Diane's got a
you were nominated for this award, Making a Difference Award, by the governing board of the Interfaith Council for your leadership in helping create the training of iChange Mentor as an integral program of the Interfaith Council, especially during COVID-19 pandemic. Helping us serve justice-involved youth is central to our work, and learning how to do so with each other helps us create a stronger community. Thank you so much.
You know, on those playgrounds when all the bullies get around and make life just hard, wouldn't it be great if moments like this that we just chanted, Meg Keeley, Meg Keeley, Meg Keeley, Meg Keeley, Meg Keeley. Thank you so much. Judy Stillman, come on down. Judy was the director of the Lights and still is through when?
Oh, I'm not the.
Oh, it's now Bill is the executive
But I'm still
for 2 years.
I'm still running the summit.
You're running the summit. But you've been an important volunteer for them, and let's hear what Diane has written on yours.
Judy was nominated by the governing board of Interfaith Council for your years of leadership of the Winter Nights Family Shelter, both as a program of the Interfaith Council, and now as an independent nonprofit. Your heart for service to those living without shelter is admirable, helping us create stronger community. Thank you for helping the faith community serve families in need. For all these
If you've ever volunteered with the Winter Nights program, would you please stand up? This is a rotating shelter that goes between congregations and serves families with young kids, and it's an amazing program many of us continue to work through and with. We are recognizing Tamisha Walker as our county-wide awardee this year for her amazing work as the founder of the Safe Return Project. I just got a text from her. Her grandbaby is sick. She's not able to be here tonight. So I'm going to share just a bit of this quick video. We're going to just do a portion of it, and then maybe we'll see if we can honor her with the actual awards at our fundraising dinner in a couple of weeks.
The mission of the Safe Return Project is to end mass incarceration and mass criminalization of individuals and communities impacted by the carceral state. Our belief is that we need to invest in the leadership of those most impacted and build urgency around those communities to be able to create change and reform. we help people navigate systems of services so that they can get on their feet and that they can be economically stable, but also be stably housed while they're learning to be leaders in their community.
Some formerly incarcerated people feel like they don't belong in the community because of their background. What we really do here is grassroots leadership.
It's rough out there in America, and the streets it is treacherous. It just changed my outlook on seeing things that really helped me to change my mind in my thinking process. The fellowship, it gave me time to allow to work on myself, to see the bad choices I was making, and it helped me focus on that. So that was very important to me.
Some of us didn't have the resources we needed to be successful originally. Most of us are just really starting to live our lives, no matter how old we are, because we never had that opportunity to thrive and survive in a healthy community. And now we get to envision that by being a part of an organization that believes in first chances.
My hope for the future is that we could actually eliminate racism, oppression, white supremacy, so that our children of our future can thrive and be successful.
Safe Return Project is a great partner that Julius and Reverend Alexandria are already working with, and we want to do even more with them. So we want to really honor them and I'll lift up all of the work that they're doing, and we'll make sure that we give these awards to them. I'll just say, nominated by the Governing Board of the Interfaith Council for your years of leadership of the Safe Return Project, which continues to challenge the legality and efficacy of the so-called criminal justice system. Your heart for service to those returning from incarceration is commendable, helping create a stronger community. Whether leading from the city council bench or your nonprofit, we thank you for making Contra Costa a more compassionate place. We're going to be recognizing those that are rotating off of the council right now. So, Diane.
So what I would like to do is read a little bit about each one of these members, and then we'll have them all come up and receive.
Come up when your name is called.
Yeah, that would be great. First, Nancy Batty, First Christian Church of Christian Science in Pleasant Hill. 2 years. We're especially honoring her. She was 2 years on the governing board, created the hiring process, which ended up we hired Reverend Julius. So thank you for that. Nancy's expertise in helping us make the Interfaith Council hiring process of our chaplain, strategic planning and operating procedures, has set the precedent for the future of our work together. We are especially in your debt for creating the procedures needed to be able to find and select our representatives. Van Hook, thank you for your thoughtful service on the council and your time on the governing board. Next, Elder Felicity Grove, is she here? No. Okay. Muhammad is here. Muhammad Chaudhry, Islamic Center of the East Bay. Muhammad has served 2 3-year terms, so he has spent 6 years on the elected council. We thank Muhammad. Yes. We thank Muhammad for his heart for service and inclusion, which was always evident in our dialogue and care for those congregations that have experienced arson as his has, and faithfully helped with donations of food, blood, and other items of those most needed. Thank you for your faith service on the council. Rebecca Messina. Yay. I really sorry to see that she had to come off. I enjoyed our conversations with her. She was from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. As a teacher, Rebecca had been a long-time participant while waiting for a full-time teaching position to open. And of course, you know how that goes. Once we get her on, that's when she gets the full-time position. Now that you've now that you finally got your dream, we will miss you. We thank you that your wish to continue to serve on iCare Program Committee, helping others find ways of service here in the county. Thank you for your faithful service on the council. Reverend Sally Bartholomew?
I think she's moved out of state. So.
Oh, that's right, that's. Oh yeah, Marianne Wittenberg from B'nai Tikva. Did I say B'nai Tikva? Marianne, is she here? Okay, I'll go on. So that's it. That's it. Quick picture though. Yeah.
Yeah, let's invite all of we have 6 folks that are being nominated to fill in for the next class, which means that 5 or 6 folks are staying on that class. So when we bring people into the council, they can serve up to 2 3-year terms, and then they get to take a year off, a sabbatical. So when you come on the council, it's not really in perpetuity. But we hope that you take these skills back to your congregation and continue to do the work that you see us do in interfaith peace building. So let's welcome all of these folks up.
And that's going to be Cynthia Peters, First Christian Church of Christian Science, Pleasant Hill. Reverend Marie Wilson, Concord United Methodist. Kate Lone, Newkirk from Mount Diablo Mount Diablo Unified Universalist Church. Unitarian. Oh, I was. Indigenous. Oh yeah, she's Indian. And Reverend Willie McDaniel, St. Peter, CME El Cerrito. And Reverend Michael Gonzalez, Beautiful Redeemer Ministries Church in Richville. And is Greg here? Okay. So, okay.
Reverend Marie, Kate, Reverend Willie, welcome to the elected council.
And so officially, we need to just vote in favor of them joining the council in this class. So all in favor? Aye. Yes. You've been approved. Thank you.
Christine. I'm just going to put some of this information, biographical information about some of the folks as we wrap up our time together. But Christine's going to give an invitation.
Hello, everyone, and again, I have to say it's great to see everyone in person. I'm Christine Nadeau. I've been on the elected council for the past few years. I'm now on the governing board and chair of development. And development means reaching out and growing. And so that's what we're all about. And the way I came to the elected councils, and it was exactly at an annual meeting like this. I was so inspired by all the things that we've seen tonight, that I just said, this is a group I want to be a part of. So I encourage everybody to reach out to your faith communities. Mary Oliver has a great saying that living a life consists of pay attention, be astonished, and tell someone. Pay attention, be astonished, and tell someone. So what we've seen tonight is just amazing. And we have another fabulous opportunity in 2 weeks from tonight for a fundraiser dinner. And it's our first annual fundraiser dinner. You'll find an invitation on your chairs. And it will be at the Mount Diablo Unitarian Universalist Church, the MDUUC, as we found out. And the cost is $125 per ticket, because we do need to raise funds to support all of the good works that you're seeing here. So $100 of that is tax deductible, the rest is for the dinner, and you get to choose between a fish dinner or a vegetarian dinner. And this is going to be a real celebration. And so it's a real opportunity to share about the Interfaith Council, to invite friends, to invite people that might be interested, and yourselves to be able to celebrate and enjoy. There will be music, a children's choir, dance, speakers who have been affected by the programs that we offer. And so it should be a wonderful, wonderful evening. Now, there is a catch. Because it's 2 weeks from tonight, we need to know who's coming so that we can order the food. And so I have a registration table over here. I know a lot of you have already registered, but if you haven't gotten a chance to, it would be great within the next 24 hours to do so, and you can actually do so tonight. We also, for those who cannot make it and would like to make a donation, there are forms back here on the table for the fall appeal. But we hope to see you at the dinner. It's going to be just wonderful and a real celebration. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. I just want you to know that I don't think we're having a children's choir, but we're having a Hindu dancer and Meg Keeley on accordion. And most amazing, a private concert by the Interfaith Council, Oakland Interfaith Council. You will not stay. Interfaith Concert Choir, Oakland Interfaith Concert Choir, Gospel Choir. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. That's what I want to say. It's going to be great. And if you were to pay for the tickets and have dinner, it would cost more than what we're just doing. So hope to see you there, or at least help us advertise. Thanks.
Thank you. I just wanted to show you how we kind of organized to get 32 people in different classes so that they can rotate on and off, and we can try to keep the diversity. We are seeking both gender diversity and faith diversity and even regional diversity. And we're so happy to be able to grow with members from West County and East County. And we really want to be county-wide to be able to reach so many people with all that we're doing. Naomi Ehrlich, why don't you stand as well? She's one of the new folks that's been a part of the council as an individual member and now is representing Beth Heim, taking one of the spots that was left open this last year. We want to recognize you formally and officially coming on to the council as well. But you'll notice that there are some folks, the ones with the little up sign are people that are in their second term, and those that have a little asterisk are folks that are serving on the governing board. And we do that so that we can make sure that we have enough time in our monthly meetings to be able to really spend in dialogue and listening to each other, because that's where the work starts. And we wouldn't be able to do any of these programs if we weren't regularly in each other's presence, hearing each other's prayers, sharing each other's hopes and dreams to create the kind of world that we want to create. One where kindness and caring and compassion are the norm rather than anything else. So as we come together, please do support the Interfaith Council. The only full-time salary people we have are our chaplains. Everyone else is part-time. I also serve a parish half-time in addition to my time serving the council half-time. So it's my pleasure to be able to do that and be a part of this work as well. So if you would, let's rise and let's say this prayer from the Dalai Lama together. No matter what is going on, never give up. Develop heart. Too much energy in your country is spent developing the mind instead of the heart. Be compassionate, not just to your friends, but to everyone. Be compassionate. Work for peace in your heart and in the world. Work for peace. And I say again, never give up. No matter what is going on around you, never give up. We have life-saving work to do. Let's do so together. Amen. Have a great night. Thanks for sticking around, everyone.
Thank you.
Yes, I will come. How are you, sister? Are you well? Is the family if you go through here and through to the next foyer, going up the stairs, yeah.